Page 4, on top of old Smokey. In this lesson, they're introducing you to what we call extended position. Okay, that's fine. We extend. The extend is when you spread out a little bit. Let's take a C chord. Well, I can take that C and I can play another C on top and make it a 4-note chord. And when I do that, I got to change the fingering because this fingering doesn't work because I don't have any fingers left for that. So I extend out to the octave and then I'll use 2 and 3 here. So that's an extended position. So I got a regular position, closed position, extended position. When do you use which? It's whatever the music needs. Look at the beginning of On Top of Old Smokey. The first full measure, you're here, but in the next measure, you got that note. And if I use this hand, this position, I'm out of position to play that note. So in order to prepare for that, I use the extended here so I can get them all. Very common in piano. You will learn in time as you're playing piano, you'll be looking ahead. And you'll see, oh, I see something coming up. I got to use this, and you'll be used to these positions by then. You'll know to spread out. Now we're using the primary chords in the key of C major. Remember the primary chords: the 1, the 4, and the 5 or 5/7 chord. Well, the 1 chord in C major is here. It's a C chord built on step 1. The 4 chord, 1, 2, 3, 4, is here. It's an F chord built on step 4. The 5 chord, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's a G chord built on the step 5. Or if you want the G7, add another one. Now we want to be able to play them without moving around. So we take the 1 chord as our basis. We're there, and we're going to kind of stay in this area. Actually, it's down here. Doesn't matter where it is. Then the 4 chord, I'm going to put the C on the bottom. Because I had here. This way for the 4 chord, I'm just these two go up. That's all. I'm not moving around. So if I finger it properly, you'd see I'm not moving. I'm moving this right now to show you the notes. And then for the 5/7 chord, what I'm going to do is put this on top. Let's go down here. And I'm going to leave that note out. Remember, we don't need all the notes. We need, on a 5/7 chord, you need the top and bottom, and one of the other two, whichever. Well, in this case, I'm going to leave out the D. We're going to do that. Well, that means I'll just go down 1, and then here. I'm using the top 2 in the position, and the little finger goes down a half step. This way I get all these chords without moving the hand. Here. To adjust a little bit, but I'm not moving the hand, and that's the point. You'll find that a lot in music. We will use those chords in these positions a lot. Now let's talk Smokey here. I look it over, it's a little over a page long. Treble bass clef. There's no sharps or flats in the key signature. We are in the key of C major. So go do the scale for C major. 1 octave up and down is fine. Just make sure you can do that scale, get comfortable with it with 1 octave. Do the trill exercise and all that junk, okay. 3/4 time signature, 1 hand at a time here because both hands are busy. The right hand, we have a pickup beat. We're coming in on beat 3. And it's the extended position. 1, 2. Now I don't have to stay spread out when it's like this. I can kind of go up. The hand goes up. Here I'm staying relaxed, but the hand is moving up slightly. Here, I'm not spread out. If it were real fast or something, then I'd have to stay there. But when I can, I want to stay relaxed. So I'm just coming up enough to play it, and then I'm relaxing. Here, I'm staying relaxed. 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. And then the second line in the 3rd measure, I got to come back to here. Now, if this is a stretch for you, you can't do that, then we need another finger, a different finger on the G. Some other finger. And it's easy to do. because in the last measure, the first line here, I could scrunch up and do a 3. Rather than here, I just scrunched up. Now I got third finger on the G. That makes it easier to get the C. I don't know how big your hands are, but we make these adjustments based on the size of our hands and what we need, because I want to connect all these notes with the fingers if I can. Even though the articulation is going to let me lift up, I don't care. I want to connect it with the fingers. So I'm going to change the fingering in the last measure, the first line, to a 1-3 here. So I have a third finger on the G. Then you do it again. Now, when you go on, you're not extended now because you don't need the high C. You're here. You're just right here. Okay, that's pretty much the piece. Left hand, we have the chords, the primary chords, but they're broken bottom, middle, top. We're starting out with 4 chords. See, the 1 chord, we're not playing one. The right hand's got it, so it's okay. So third or the second full measure in the left, it's just a 4 chord. Next line, it's a 1 chord until you get to the end. That's a 5/7 chord, and you learn to recognize these chords. You look at those 3 notes in the measure, and you'll just recognize it as a broken such and such chord. And when you can do that, it makes reading the music so much easier, because now you're just playing the notes in the chord in whatever rhythm they tell you, rather than saying, what's this note, and what's this note, and what's this note? No. Once you have it, you're just playing the notes in the chord. So we put the hands together. Let's see what we have. And I'll hesitate. That's okay. Here. Here. So I go through and I put the hands together, and then I'll go back over and just a few measures at a time and get rid of any hesitations. Now it kind of helps when you're doing this, getting rid of the hesitations, if maybe you can take it a phrase at a time. Do you hear the musical thoughts? Lift up, lift up, lift up. Like taking a breath. I mean, we haven't done articulation yet, but when you're working out the hesitations, it can help sometimes if you'll take it a phrase at a time. So get this first part without any hesitations. You don't have to go that fast, but the point is do that, and then do the next one. Get that without any hesitations, and work your way through the whole thing. Get rid of the hesitations. Then once those are gone, I add the articulation, and that's the phrasing I just told you about. You're going to lift up in the right hand, connect the left hand. So I'm lifting up here, but I'm going to connect that here. Yeah. Lift up the right. Up in the right hand for the phrasing, I'm connecting the left hand until I get to the rests. Then once the articulation is in, I add the dynamics. This is a little more like it's done. They have an MF between the staves, and that's where it needs to be. Mezzo forte is moderately loud, and applies to the melody wherever it is. This. The left hand is in the background, someplace. Play it soft. You see in the second line there on page 4 here, all the time I'm doing this, I want to hear this. Don't drown it out. Now at the end, bottom page 5, you get a diminuendo, moderately loud. Each note's going to get a little softer. And the fermato, you just hang on to that. They don't tell you how much softer to get. You decide. I go down to about soft or very soft. The song ended with the third measure, the thief. When that those two half notes are, they're tied together. When they're done, the song's over. That last couple measures, that's just an afterthought. And it needs to be clear to the listener that that last two measures is not melody. It needs to be clear. So they need to be way in the background like accompaniment. So the last line here, so that note was melody, this is not. Bring it down and get softer. And you can slow down a little bit there too if you want. Let them know you're at the end. And they're going to figure it out eventually anyway, but it's nice to let them know. Now the speed, well, it depends on your interpretation of the piece. If you're going to sing it, you're going to take a lazy, in the middle. Just that these dotted, held out notes last forever. Some people they'll feel it a little quicker, just so. That way the longer held notes don't last as long. The problem is it sounds kind of rushed. And it's supposed to be just a gentle piece. You sing around a campfire somewhere at the end of the day and you're relaxing. Yeah. So I would suggest somewhere in the middle, 2, 3, 3, 1, 2, da, da, da. 1, 2, 3, 1. You think 1, 2, 3, that's not moderato. But it's the feel of the piece we're after. It just feels kind of in the middle that way. And then on top of all that, they've added pedal. Well, isn't that nice? So why are we using pedal? Because if you're going to use pedal, it should be a reason. And it's important that you understand it. Otherwise, don't use it. I mean, you don't need pedal on this piece. You can play it just fine without. So why is it used? Well, in this case, it's being used to color the longer held notes. Because on a piano, when you play a note, it just sits there and dies away. But if you could pedal that note, it's got all these overtones going on in the background. It gives a little bit of color, a little bit of interest. And that's what we do sometimes in piano. Not all long-held notes, because it depends on what else is going on in the music. But if we can, it's nice to color them. And that's sort of what they're doing here. Now I'm going to push the notes down first and then the pedal. The reason is I want to start the sound before I release the overtone, so it kind of grows. So the second full measure is here. Push the notes, then the pedal. And it's immediately after. And I'm going to lift the pedal with the right hand. I want to hear the phrasing. Okay? And that's how they're pedaling it throughout. And if you don't listen too much, don't listen too hard, it sounds okay. The problem is it really doesn't sound okay. In the first line here, you're holding it down for the, I like a clean melody, and we're not. That's not a clean melody, it's ugh. So I want a clean melody, therefore, and they haven't taught you this is why they're not doing it, but I'm going to teach it because I think the sound is more important than keeping it simple. What we have is we just lift the pedal up and right back down. You got plenty of time. It's not a quick jerky motion. It's just up and down. And that's what I'm going to do when the melody changes notes here. Then right after I play the note, next note, it's just up and down. There. That keeps it clean. And that's what I suggest we do throughout. Anytime the melody is changing like that, then it's called change pedal. It's up and down on the pedal. Now, a lot of these method books, and I don't blame them, they're trying to keep the pedaling simple because you got enough to think about already. My problem is you get used to hearing the junk that simple pedaling provides. It just makes it junk as far as I'm concerned. I don't want you to get used to hearing that. I want you to be very critical on what you're hearing and question it. Do I like that sound? Because if you don't, you need to change it. Now at the end, the last line there, here. Here. I want to die away. I got all this sound, all these notes, and I want to die away. It's kind of hard to do with all those notes. So I'm going to adjust the pedal a little bit to help me out. I want to get rid of some of the notes. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to change the pedal on the next to the last measure. So take the last 4 measures here. Now I'm going to change it here. See, that way I got rid of these notes. That cleaned out some of it. Here. That helps a little bit. If you want to clean it out even more, then change the pedal again on the last measure. So that way you only get these 2 notes and their overtones. And that way it's a lot less than all of this. I only get this. You have to listen to the sound and experiment. What is the sound I'm after, and is that really it or not? If you have a teacher, you just do it the way your teacher tells you to do it, and you don't have to worry about it. And then, of course, at the end, the pedal and everything comes up together. Now, remember the natural accents? 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and 3, 4 times this first beat. Feel the natural accent. The first notes, it should sound like to hear, because otherwise the listener is going to think the first note you played is beat 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. No, it's off. It's got to sound bum bum, and you just feel it. Bum, bum, bum. If you can feel this 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, the listener picks up on it. Let's play this together very slowly and check the notes and the rhythms. I'm going to pedal it like I suggested so you can see it, and I'll give us 2 counts. Ready, go. Hold 2 off.